You are listening to the Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
You know, I was staring at a terminal window the other day, just watching a bash script run.
Oh yeah, just a classic simple loop.
Exactly, yeah. It was one of those incredible simple ones that just renames a batch of files and moves it into a backup server. And I had this sudden weird moment of nostalgia.
The glory days of cron jobs and regular expressions.
Right. You felt like you had superpowers because you saved 5 minutes of clicking.
You were the office wizard, basically.
Spot on.
Yeah.
But now you know the word automation means something entirely different. It means robots having meetings about my calendar while I sleep. We have jumped from simple scripted loops to having a full-blown digital staff.
Yeah. It is a fundamental shift in the architecture of work. We have moved past the if phase. We are not sitting around debating if we should use AI or advanced automation anymore. We are deep in the messy how phase.
Specifically, how do we handle the absolute chaos it creates if we do not put guardrails around it? And that is exactly what we are going to unpack right here on Vocal Technologist. We are looking at this massive transition in DevOps from the rise of agentic AI and this concept of bounded autonomy to the crushing weight of technical debt that is holding it all back.
It really is the defining challenge of the moment. We are building systems that make decisions now, not just follow instructions. That changes everything from how we commit code to who gets the blame when production goes down on a Friday night.
So let us get into the numbers, because I saw some data from Nyla's that honestly made me do a double take.
Yeah.
They claim that 64.4% of product roadmaps now include agentic AI.
That is a staggering figure.
Right. It is nearly two-thirds of the industry saying, yep, the robots are part of the core plan.
It is a massive number, but you really have to look at the pressure behind it. That same data set showed that 85% of developers believe agentic AI will be table stakes within just 3 years.
Wow, 85%.
Yeah, that is the industry telling you that if you are not running agents by 2029, you are essentially obsolete.
That is heaps of pressure. But here is the thing that bugs me about those surveys. When they say agentic AI, is everyone actually talking about the same thing? Because agent is becoming one of those words like cloud or agile that means everything and nothing.
You are bang on. That is the catch.
The survey showed a wild divergence in definitions. For the roughly 40.8% of respondents who say they're implementing it right now, agentic might just mean a chatbot.
Like a chatbot doing a semantic search on a vector database.
Pretty much.
Which, let us be honest, is just a glorified Clippy.
It really is. But for the top tier of that group, agentic means something very different. It means a fully autonomous system that can reason, plan, and execute infrastructure changes. We are seeing the rise of agentic platform engineering.
And this is where that term bounded autonomy comes in, right? Because giving an AI full autonomy on a production server sounds like a resume-generating event. Oh, it absolutely would be. Bounded autonomy is the safety valve here. The idea is that the platform, or the agent, handles complex operational tasks. It reasons through a problem, decides on a course of action, and executes it.
But strictly within a box of permissions.
Exactly, strictly within policies that we define.
So the human role shifts from doing the thing to designing the box the thing lives in.
Precisely. It is a shift from execution to governance. And this is not just theoretical anymore. Look at Thomas Dohmke, the former CEO of GitHub. He just launched a new company called Entire Foosh and raised a casual $60 million for it.
I saw that. His thesis is super interesting. He is calling for a factory reset of developer tools.
Factory reset is the exact phrase. He's arguing that we cannot just bolt AI onto workflows that were designed in the 90s.
Like the current integrated development environment or the command line interface.
Right, and the pull request. They were built for humans typing characters. If you have agents writing code, you need to rebuild the entire software development lifecycle specifically for them.
It is a bold call, but you can see the friction already in the tools we use today. Have you seen the latest update for VS Code, version 1.109?
I did take a look. It is starting to look less like a text editor and more like a mission control center.
They are literally calling it a multi-agent command center. You can now have Anthropic Claude and OpenAI Codex and GitHub Copilot all running in there simultaneously. It is like having 3 different geniuses arguing over your code in real time.
It sounds chaotic, but the technical achievement there is the orchestration. It is not just having 3 chat windows open. VS Code is positioning itself as the universal interface, the unified session manager.
Orchestrating the agents to work together on the same context.
Exactly. It handles parallel sub-agents, so you're not toggling between tools.
Which is amazing, until it breaks. And this brings us to the part of the conversation that makes every engineering manager sweat: accountability.
Yes, the who do we fire segment.
Let us be real, though. If an agent writes the code, and another agent approves the pull request, which is happening, and a third agent deploys it, who is responsible when the site crashes?
This is a serious legal and operational issue. There is a concept referenced in a great piece by Mayable called accountability debt. It captures this tension perfectly.
Like technical debt, but for responsibility.
Exactly.
Unpack that a bit for me. How do you accrue accountability debt?
Imagine a VP of engineering says, use these AI agents to write your tests and release features 10 times faster. The developer says, okay, but who is accountable if the AI hallucinates and ships a security vulnerability?
And the VP says, well, you are, of course. You are the human in the loop.
That is the one.
That sounds horribly familiar. Here's a black box tool I do not fully understand. Now go bet your career on its output.
You're taking out a loan on reliability. The takeaway from the experts is that coded automation is not enough. You cannot just automate the keystrokes. You need quality governance.
So if you were going to use agents, you need a rigorous automated system to check their work.
Yes, because saying it was not me, it was the robot is not going to fly in a post-incident review.
It feels like we are moving at breakneck speed, powered by these agents. But half the time, we do not even know if we're moving in the right direction. I feel like a lot of teams are just running fast in the dark.
The data backs you up on that entirely. The State of Platform Engineering report highlighted a shocking gap. Nearly 30% of platform teams do not measure success at all.
30%. That is a third of the industry just hoping for the best.
Basically, yes. And another large chunk cannot tell if their metrics are even improving. It is an accountability gap. In this economic climate, if you cannot prove you are providing value, your budget is going to get cut.
If you cannot show that your platform is making devs faster, you are in trouble.
Yeah.
So what should we be measuring then? Because I hate those vanity metrics like lines of code written. If I have an AI agent write 10,000 lines of garbage, I have not been productive.
Please never use lines of code. The industry is coalescing around the DORA metrics like deployment frequency and lead time for changes.
And the space framework too, right?
Right, which adds the human element like developer satisfaction. But there is a strong argument that we can simplify it even further.
Go on.
There are really only two metrics that matter for the health of a system. Metric 1 is how routinely do you ship. Metric 2 is how rarely do you break production.
Speed and stability.
Exactly. If you ship every single day and production never goes down, you are winning. If you have those two nailed, then the only thing left to optimize is user happiness. Everything else, like velocity points or commit volume, is just extra data.
I really like that simplicity. But speaking of things that are not simple, let us shift gears a bit. Because while we are all excited about agents and that factory reset idea, a lot of us are still drowning in old code.
The legacy trap.
Yeah, the shiny new agents are great, but they often have to interact with a monolith written 10 years ago.
Or 20 years ago. Let us talk about the Java debt wall.
It is a very real wall. A survey of over 2,000 Java developers showed that technical debt is the single biggest drain on their productivity.
It is not just about the code being ugly either. It is about vulnerability management and the sheer cost of running it.
And pricing right. I have heard plenty of chatter about people fleeing Oracle.
That is a massive driver right now. Changes in licensing and pricing are pushing teams to migrate to OpenJDK. But that migration is not a simple copy-paste job. You are talking about runtime discrepancies and deprecated APIs. It takes serious time.
However, this is where the AI topic circles back in a really practical way. I saw AWS has launched something called Transform Custom. Is this that agentic tool for upgrades?
It is. And this is a perfect use case for bounded autonomy. It uses agentic AI to automate the modernization of Java applications. We are talking about upgrading from Java 8 all the way to Java 21.
Java 8 to 21. That is a massive jump. That's like jumping from a horse and cart into a Tesla. You are skipping over a decade of language evolution.
You really are. Doing that manually is a nightmare of dependency hell. You have to verify every single library. AWS is using the new tech to fix the old tech.
Reducing the manual refactoring by applying vetted patterns.
Exactly. It is essentially automated janitorial work.
Which is the best kind of work to give a robot. But it is not just Java getting this treatment. I was reading about the modernization wave in Go or Golang.
Go is getting a massive refresh. Go version 1.26 is introducing a completely rewritten Go fix command.
I thought Go fix has been around forever, though.
It has, but it was fairly limited. This new version is different. It is about automatically modernizing code to match new idioms. For example, they are updating the syntax for the new function.
Why bother changing the syntax if the old one works fine? That sounds like churn for the sake of churn.
This is where it gets fascinating. One of the stated goals is to ensure that large language models are trained on current idioms, not old patterns.
Wait, hang on. Are we changing the programming language so the AI learns it better?
In a way, yes. Think about it. Language models learn from public code repositories. If the world's GitHub repos are full of archaic Go patterns, the AI trained on them will suggest archaic code to you.
So by using GoFix to modernize everything at scale, you are essentially cleaning the training data for the next generation of coding agents.
That is exactly it. We are optimizing our languages for machine readability and machine learning, not just human readability.
That is incredibly meta. We are tidying up our room so the robot butler does not get confused.
That is a perfect analogy.
It is happening across the stack, is it not? Even the monitoring tools? Prometheus is getting a renovation.
The very same. The industry standard for metrics. They are moving from their classic primitive sample storage to something called native composite sample support.
That sounds like a lot of syllables. What does it actually mean for the engineer on call?
It means better efficiency and resolution. It handles histograms and complex data types much better at scale. It is about making the storage layer more reliable and transactional.
Again, it is all about modernizing the plumbing so it can handle the sheer volume of data these agentic systems are going to generate.
Spot on.
Speaking of plumbing, let us look at where this code actually lives, because the terrain of hosting is shifting too. We have to talk about the Heroku situation.
Oh, Heroku. The gateway drug for so many developers.
It really was. You just typed git push Heroku master, and it was magic. But reports are indicating that Heroku is shifting to what they call a sustaining engineering model.
Which is polite corporate speak for maintenance mode.
We are keeping the lights on, but nobody is home.
Effectively, yes. Innovation has stalled. And for a lot of customers who built their businesses on Heroku, that is a loud signal to leave. They need a platform that is actively growing, not just existing.
So where are they going then? Because Kubernetes is way too complex for a lot of these smaller teams.
DigitalOcean is positioning itself as the compatible successor. Their app platform is basically saying, we are what Heroku used to be, but with active feature development.
Offering structured migration support to catch all those fleeing users.
It is a really smart play to capture the day two operations market that Heroku dominated for so long.
It really is the end of an era. But while we were talking about infrastructure wins, I saw something from Cloudflare that looked incredibly cool. It is a library called Ecstasis.
You are thinking of the Rust library, right?
That is the one. It claims to allow zero downtime upgrades. Now, I am usually skeptical because everyone promises zero downtime, but usually that means very little downtime or we retry the connection.
No, this is the real deal. And it solves a very specific and very hard problem. Usually when you restart a server process to update it, there is a split second where you drop existing connections.
Or refuse new ones while the old process dies and the new one binds to the port.
Exactly, the handover gap. Ecstasis allows the service to duplicate the file descriptors and hand them over from the old process to the new one seamlessly.
Leveraging Unix socket magic to basically pass the baton without dropping it.
So the user literally does not notice a thing. The TCP connection stays alive.
Not a blip. It is a fantastic piece of open source engineering. If you are running Rust services, it is absolutely worth looking at.
I love that. Now, before we wrap up the infrastructure talk, I have to throw in a quick, did you know that I found both funny and terrifying? It is about Docker.
Let me guess. Is it about disk space?
You nailed it. Did you know that Docker log rotation is not on by default?
I did know that, and I learned it the hard way about 5 years ago.
I reckon most people do. You spin up a container, everything is fine, and then 3 months later your server crashes because the disk is 100% full.
And you dig in and find a single JSON log file that is 50 gigabytes containing every console output from the dawn of time.
It is a classic trap. So public service announcement for everyone listening. Configure your Docker daemon log rotation. Do not let your logs eat your disk.
It is the digital equivalent of taking out the rubbish. If you do not do it, eventually you will not be able to open the front door.
So true. You know, stepping back and looking at all of this, from the AI agents in VS Code to the Java updates to the Docker logs, there is a common theme here. We are building systems that build themselves. We have agents orchestrating agents. We have AWS tools automatically rewriting Java code. But we still have to take the rubbish out. We still have to manage the plumbing.
We cannot just hand the keys to the robot and walk away. Not yet, anyway.
And this brings me to a final thought on a concept called bias toward action. There's a great piece on this recently.
How does that fit into all the automation?
Well, in this world of high-speed AI and automation, the best teams are not the ones who are reckless. They're the ones who make being wrong safe.
Make being wrong safe. I really like that.
Bias toward action means taking the smallest responsible step. You build guardrails like feature flags, fast rollbacks, and good monitoring like we talked about with Prometheus. You make deploying boring.
If deploying is scary, you will not do it often. If it is boring, you can move fast.
And if you move fast, you can fix things fast when the agent inevitably messes up.
Exactly. Fast teens are not cowboys. They just have better brakes so they can drive faster.
That is a great way to put it. We were speeding down the highway, but we have got ABS and airbags.
And hopefully someone remembered to rotate the logs.
Ideally. Look, we have covered a massive amount of ground in this exploration. From the 64% of you putting agents on your roadmap, to the poor souls rewriting Java 8, to everyone migrating off Heroku, it is a incredibly busy time to be in tech.
It is. The tools are changing rapidly, but the fundamentals like observability, accountability, and just keeping the disk clean remain exactly the same. But here's something for you to mull over after we wrap up. We spend all this time worrying about how humans govern agents. What happens when our bounded autonomy agents start interacting with another company, bounded autonomy agents?
Oh, wow.
Imagine an AWS agent negotiating API limits with a Stripe agent in real time, with zero human oversight. We are so focused on human-to-robot accountability, but robot-to-robot accountability is a whole different ballgame.
That is a terrifying and fascinating thought.
Something to keep you awake tonight. Well, that is it for this exploration of the madness. Check your metrics, maybe give Go Fix a run, and for the love of everything wholly done, go fix your log rotation before you crash your production server.
Sounds like very good advice.
Cheers, mate.
Spoken Tech for your ears.